tonight for Itawamba.
And welcome to Itawamba Community College here in Fulton, as we are set for a big-time Division I 4A high school battle between the Lafayette Commodores and the Itawamba AHS Indians. Good evening, everyone. I'm Brad Kennedy, along with Scott McCord and Rob Morgan, bringing you another week of high school football here on Galaxy Cable Channel 12. Both these teams come into tonight's game at 2-2. Itawamba has lost 2 games in a row, but that doesn't mean anything at this point, does it, Scott?
No, tonight's just everybody's 0-0 tonight as we start district play.
Division ball games beginning all over the area. The key for Lafayette to winning this football game tonight will be stopping this powerful running attack from Itawamba. That's right, Brad.
Itawamba returns 3 rushers who tallied over 3,000 yards in rushing last year. So definitely the Lafayette Commodores is going to be concentrating on stopping those running backs.
Well, it'll take a good effort from the Commodores to win this game tonight to get off to a good start here in Division I 4A. Should be a good ball game. Stay with us here on Cable Channel 12. And we're back here in Fulton. The Itawamba Indians taking the field on a beautiful night for football. The Lafayette Commodores, now they bust through and they head to their sideline. We're just moments away from kickoff. Itawamba won the coin toss and they elected to receive. They want to get their offense on the field first, Scott.
Yeah, they want to get these rushers all loosened up and test that Commodore defense right at the start and see what happens. Usually in this situation, you see a team win the toss and they defer to the second half, but I guess that the Indians want to get out here and see if they can't shoot these Commodores down very fast tonight.
Well, they are a very talented team. They return 9 starters on offense, several seniors on this ball club. This is a program that, when you think about traditional powers in North Mississippi, you don't think much about the Itawamba Indians, but they have become a powerhouse over the last couple of years. In fact, last year they won the division title, advanced to the playoffs, and it was their first ever playoff victory in the history of the school. So Itawamba taking the field. And here come the Commodores. Marvin Flemons to kick off.
Number 27, Dilworth.
Noah Swims, number 10. He's their very talented running back. He's back to receive, along with Sherrod Dilworth. And let's see, number 20, Lance Colburn. So they have 3 receivers back.
For Lafayette County.
There's the kick. Comes down, Colburn, near sideline. Has a seam up the middle. And he gets out across the 36-yard line. On the tackle, that was Matt Kenton. Check that, that was Wesley Smith on the tackle.
All at the 36.
And we will check the starting lineups as Itawamba has it 1st and 10 at their own 36. Their quarterback is number 7, Clay Dozier. He is only a sophomore. Lewis Lee was the quarterback going into the season, but Dozier has come on and earned the starting nod. He pitches it back to Swims.
Swims, Gary.
Wesley Smith again on the tackle. Noah Swims, the running back. We'll check the other starters. Raphael White and Russell Esters, all running backs. Scotty Nichols, number 24, the wideout. Keith Huddleston, number 40, number 50, Bubba Walker, 54, TJ Miles. They pitch it back to Swims. Here's a halfback pass going deep down the field, and it's picked off. Oh, almost picked off.
Swims pass.
Eric Woodall had it in his hands and dropped it.
That may come back to haunt the Commodores right there, Brad, as that was one that should have been picked off.
The other starters for Itawamba, Martin Davis, Lee Frederick, Will Bean, and Galvin McKinney. A wide receiver. We'll check the lineups for the Lafayette Commodores. On defense, number 1, Kevin Herod. Eric Woodall, who you just saw deflect that pass. Rashad Rabon in at linebacker. Number 22, Wesley Smith, Marvin Flemons, Michael Brannon, Brian Yarbrough, Marvin Quarles. Third down. There's Dozier on the rollout, and his pass intended for Esters. It falls incomplete.
4th down 8.
Eric Woodall there on the defense, and that brings up 4th down. And Itawamba will have to punt. We'll finish the lineups. Sean Vaughn, Raman Lockhart, Anthony Marion rounding out the defensive unit for the Commodores.
Well, the Commodore defense doing a good job there. Itawamba decided to defer the kick and take it, but they didn't do much with it.
There's the punt. Herod has it at the 20, and he's brought down at the 22. Lance Colburn in on the stop.
22, 1st down 10, Lafayette County.
Brad, certainly the Commodores wanting to get a good rhythm going here and establish their running attack and try to march down the field.
They have it 1st and 10 on their own 22. We'll check the lineups for you as we go along. Rashad Rabon, number 10, in at the quarterback. He gives to Herod. Herod around the left side, and he's met by a gang of Itawamba defenders after a short pickup.
Over the 25, 2nd down 7.
A pickup of 3 on that one.
One of those plays I think we'll see the Commodores go back to is it was one of those almost plays. Looked as though if he would have turned it up just a little bit sooner, there may have been more yardage there.
Kevin Herod, the starter. There's a handoff again to Herod around the left side, and he's stacked up.
Herod, Gary.
Eric Stevens in on the stop for Itawamba. Let's check the starters quickly. Jason Smith, a wide receiver. Travis Cox, Marvin Quarles, Raman Lockhart, Chris Pryorson, Anthony Marion, Melvin Turner, Eric Rousey, and Jonathan Smith, the rest of the starting unit. He picked up just a couple of yards, brings up 3rd down and 5. There's a handoff.
McCormick, Gary.
Up the middle, Marvin Quarles, and he stopped short.
4th down.
Picked up about a yard. That brings up 4th and 4, and the Commodores will have to punt. In to handle the punting duties, Jason McCormick. Back deep is Swims and Colburn. Good kick that time. Swims signaling fair catch, and he had to run up. Ball loose. Commodore saying they have it. Let's see what. And evidently they do.
There's a flag on the play, however, on about the 18-yard line. The referee dropped that very early, so we'll have to wait and see if that might have been offsides on the Commodore.
Well, it was illegal procedure against Lafayette. So certainly Itawamba will want to push him back and make him punt that football again.
Well, Brad, if you're the Commodores, you're just kind of shaking your head right here as you've had 2 potential turnovers already very early in this ball game, and you've managed to give both of them back to the opposition. We saw last week what happens to you when you don't take advantage of the mistakes of the other team.
So McCormick comes on to punt again. Swims Colburn back deep. Another good kick. Hits and takes an Itawamba bounce. There to pick it up is Frank Logan, and down it at the 45, 46-yard line.
Not a bad punt at all there, Brad, as he kicked that into a pretty nice little wind. Not just a gusty wind, but a steady wind. And so gets the Commodores out of a little bit of trouble. Very good kick that time by McCormick.
First and 10 Itawamba. No score in the ball game. First quarter. They give it to Swims.
Swims, Gary.
Around the right side. Rashad Raybon there to make the stop, along with Wesley Smith. Pickup of 1.
On to the 47, second down 9.
Bring up 2nd and 9.
The Commodores doing a good job stringing out along the line of scrimmage and not giving the Itawamba running back any space to cut it upfield. Definitely something that the defense likes to do when a team's trying to run the football.
2nd down 9 for Itawamba. Chip Mills wide to the left. Double wingback set, something we see from the Commodores, and there's a penalty marker down, and it appears that the play clock has expired. And that is a penalty. So that brings up second down 14. They send the man in motion to the left. Dozier rolling to his left and looking for Swims.
Dozier's pass incomplete. And intended for Swims.
Well, Swims a very talented athlete, and they're trying several different ways to get him involved in this ball game early. Even going to him being a quarterback on a halfback pass there just a little while ago. But so far he has not been able to hit any type of rhythm. So I know the Commodores feel pretty good about that so far in this ball game.
We had a penalty on that play against Itawamba, but the Commodores declined the penalty, electing to make it 3rd down and 14 rather than go back to 2nd down and 14. I'm not sure what the penalty was. So 3rd down play for the Indians. Double wingback set, Swims, the deep back. They give it to Swims, first man through, slips a tackle, and finally knocked down. Brandon Morgan. Check that, that's Wesley Smith on the tackle, stopping him a couple of yards shy of the first down. But a 12-yard pickup nonetheless for Noah Swims. But it's still 4th down, and the Indians will have to punt.
Wesley Smith has come up big on the defense so far because we have called his name already several times.
Several tackles here in the first quarter. Swims also handles the punting duties for Itawamba. And he gets that one away, and it's headed toward the end zone and does go out of the back of the end zone.
Lafayette County from the 20.
So the Commodores will take over at their own 20 with 7:21 to go in the first quarter. No score as yet in the ball game. You can tell by our microphones the wind blowing just a little bit here tonight. A warm southerly breeze.
Fingers crossed that the rain is going to hold off, as there was some pretty good cloud bank back to the southwest before the sun went down.
1st and 10 for the Commodores. And there's a whistle and a penalty marker down before that play ever gets started. They were going to Jason Smith on the end around.
Probably going to be movement on the line.
And
it
is illegal procedure. So that will move the Doors back 5 yards.
Brad, do you feel like some of these early penalties may be nerves in each team, knowing how big a game that this is?
Well, it could be. I mean, this is the start of a new season almost. And they know that these games count from here on out. 1st and 15 now for the Commodores from their own 15. And now we have another penalty marker. The play clock hasn't expired, but it's illegal procedure again.
I didn't even realize the Commodores had even come to the line.
I don't think any of them did either. So that backs them up and makes it 1st and 20 from their own 10.
From the 10.
May smell a little home cooking brewing.
First and 20. Raybon gives it to Kevin Harrod.
Gary.
Harrod gets out to about the 17-yard line.
On to the 17, second down, 13.
A nice run in that situation as the Commodores have been backed up inside the 10 on penalties, so it gives them a little bit of breathing room.
Second down, 13. 6:44 to go, first quarter. Raybon trying to roll to his left, and he's sacked. Who was that in there on the sack?
Noah Swims, I believe.
Noah Swims with the sack.
10, third down, 20.
And so he loses the yardage that we had just picked up on the previous possession. Third down and 20.
This is not a place you want to get fancy. You just want to kind of be under control here and make sure you make no mistakes down this deep in the opponent's territory.
They hand it off. Jason Smith on the end around, but the Indians were not fooled.
Jason Smith, Gary.
Picked up only a yard.
Fourth down, 19.
So that brings up 4th and 19, and it's a punting battle here early on.
This is something that the Commodores don't want to get into because they definitely are not in good enough field position to start punting the ball back and forth.
Short kick. Swims comes up and makes the catch. The fair catch. And Itawamba will be in good field position at the Lafayette 30-yard line. We've got a timeout on the field. So with that timeout, we'll take one as well. You're watching Lafayette Commodore football on Galaxy Channel 12 in Oxford. Pickup of about 2. Second down, 8. There's a quick handoff up the middle. Keith Huddleston. Rashad Raybon in to make the stop. Pickup of 3 that time.
Third down, 5.
Third and 5. So another big third down play. We've seen several of those here tonight.
Defense needs to come up big because they have let the Indians get down deep in their own territory.
They hand it off on the end around. Esters. He's pushed out of bounds. Kevin Harrod, Sean Vaughn, Eric Woodall, check that, and Sean Vaughn, and it's a first down, and that's the first down of the ball game for either team.
Wesley Smith just so close to cutting that corner off, but the Indian running back able to sweep around that end for the first down.
First and 10 from the 15. They hand it off. Swims up the middle, twisting and turning. Wesley Smith again on the tackle. Pickup of about 3, maybe 4.
On the 12.
Look at that tropical storm may have changed direction and maybe coming up at 10 Tom.
Second down and 7. There's Esters again on the carry.
Esters carry.
Twisting and turning his way down to about the 12-yard line, to the 7-yard line. Michael Brannon there on the tackle.
Commodores need to do a better job of wrapping these running backs up. There was at least 2 Commodores that had their hands on the running back in the backfield and let him get free and gain some positive yardage. And all of these yards down this deep are very, very valuable.
3rd down 3. They give it to Swims. For the right tackle. And he's got the 1st down. Down to the 4-yard line.
At the 4.
Sean Vaughn there to make the stop.
Really, for the first time, Brad, we saw the Indian offensive line really get a surge right up the middle and let Swims break through there for the 1st down.
1st and goal to go from the 4. First scoring threat of the night for either team. Swims on the sweep, and he walks into the end zone.
Well, that's exactly how you draw it up if you're the guy supposed to be blocking, as Swims followed those big offensive linemen right around the end and went into the end zone untouched.
On now to attempt the extra point is Dozier, and the kick is up, and it is good.
The point after is good. Itawamba is 7. Lafayette County nothing.
So, with 2:25 to go in the first quarter,
AHS Athletic Boosters Club.
Itawamba leads Lafayette 7-0. We'll take a break here on Galaxy Channel 12.
To join the Boosters Club.
And we're back here in Fulton. Itawamba kicking off. There's Kevin Harrod on the return. He's out to the 19 before he's stopped.
Harrod on the return.
Jermaine Tucker there to make the tackle for Itawamba.
1st down, 10, Lafayette County. Ball at the 18.
Go ahead, Scott.
Commodore's in a situation now where they have got to cut out the penalties and get their offense on track, as the Indians have now scored a touchdown. So Lafayette has to answer fairly fast.
1st and 10 from the 18. 2:15 to go first quarter. They give it to Quarles. Check that. That's Flemings, Marvin Flemings.
Flemings carry.
On the carry.
It's a nice gain for the Commodores as Flemings was able to break through the middle. Flemings, a good-looking runner, very large young man, was able to put those big shoulders on some of those defenders and just drive them forward.
2nd down 3. 1:42 to go first quarter. Itawamba leading Lafayette 7-0. Here's Rashad Raybon on the keeper, and he's out to the 29-yard line and close to a 1st down. It'll depend on where they mark it. And they do give him a 1st down.
1st down, 10, Lafayette County. On to the 29.
So Rashad gets just enough for the 1st down, and that is the first down of the ball game for the Commodores. First and 10. Here's Rashad again, keeping, still going. Picks up 3, maybe 4 yards. Lewis Lee there on the tackle. As we mentioned earlier, Lewis Lee started this season as the starting quarterback, and we may see him at quarterback some tonight, but Clay Dozier has taken over that spot for the Indians.
2nd down, 6.
Rashad is able to kind of hide behind those big offensive linemen and find him a little bit of a seam for a 4-yard gain.
Well, that gets Rashad back up to 0 on rushing. His only rush was a loss of 7 yards. Here's Raybon back to throw. Looking and has a man. Nesbitt Bell. Down to the 37-yard line.
10 Lafayette County. Ball at the 37.
Well, this is definitely the way the Commodores needed to react after they gave up the first score of the football game. They needed to come back, put a nice drive together as they're beginning to do that at this point.
Good pass play that time. Rashad Raybond to Nesbitt Bell. Another first down. 15 seconds to go in the first quarter. They do get the playoff. And there's a fumble on the exchange.
Herod recovers.
Kevin Herod recovers his own fumble and had some problems there between he and Raybond on the handoff, but luckily for the Commodores, they were able to pick it up.
End of the first quarter.
And that brings us to the end of the first quarter with Itawamba leading Lafayette 7-0. You're watching Lafayette Commodore football on Galaxy Channel 12.
And at that point, it was just a jailbreak. The whole side of the defensive line breaking through. Raybond never had a chance to get that play going.
3rd and 10, 9:30 to go. Second quarter. Ball on the 17-yard line. Rashad back to throw, looking over the middle, and it's incomplete. Pass intended for number 84, Jonathan Smith.
It was definitely there. The pass a little bit behind Smith, but one that he could have caught.
Just a little bit too high. But that brings up 4th and 10. Of course, we know that the Commodores have had some kicking woes here early in the season, so you just don't know if a field goal is really an option. And the Commodores have taken a timeout. We will keep it right here. So you don't know if a field goal is really an option at this point.
The AHS faculty members on duty tonight are wearing gold.
Well, I believe if you're Lafayette at this stage of the game, you're early in the game, so if you don't score, it's not a disaster. The ball is still deep in the opposition's territory, so your defenders can hold them, get you a punt, and you'll still be in good shape. I would probably go and opt for try to get the first down at this point if I was a coach.
Well, they are lining up to attempt the field goal. Marvin Flemons out there putting the tee down.
We haven't seen them in 3 weeks either, so they may have solved their kicking woes.
Well, that's true. At about the 24 to be a 34-yard field goal attempt, and they won't ever get it off. Looked like he had it. But there's a penalty marker down. The play clock had not expired. But it's offsides against Itawamba, and so that will move Marvin that much closer.
It'll put you in 4th down and 5 instead of 4th down and 10, so may reconsider and go for the first down.
Well, Lafayette going to use another timeout, and so we will take a timeout as well. With 9:16 to go, 7-0 Itawamba. You're watching Lafayette Commodore football on Channel 12.
Oxford.
4th and 5.
I think Indians may have just given Commodores a first down.
And you're right, Scott, an offsides against Itawamba.
Itawamba giving some of those early mistakes back that the Commodores had, giving the Commodores a first down. I would assume it's a first down as it was 4th and 5, so you may have to measure.
Well, it is a first down. They've already changed the marker over there.
We're 1st and goal.
1st and goal to go from the 6. They hand it off. Around the left side. Let's see who that was. Kevin Herod. Gets down to the 2-yard line. So a pickup of 4.
Second down, goal.
And it's 2nd and goal from the 2.
Nice game by Herod. He was able to cut it up off this left end and get positive yardage, and just almost eke it in for the touchdown, but the defense caught up to him just in time.
Second and goal from the 2. They give it to Quarles over the top, and Marvin is into the end zone for a touchdown. A 2-yard touchdown run.
Quarles, Gary, touchdown, Lafayette County.
Well, just a little smash mouth football by the Commodores as a big running back Quarles right straight up the middle for the score.
Fleming's on to attempt the extra point. Raybon to hold. Kick up, and it's good.
Point after is good.
So with 8:35 to go in the half, we're tied at 7 between Itawamba and Lafayette. You're watching Lafayette Commodore football on Channel 12. And we're back here in Fulton. There's a kickoff. Fielded by Dilworth, and he's popped.
Flag down.
Unfortunately, he's popped a little bit too high. It's going to be a personal foul. 15 yards is going to be added on here as the Commodore defender hit too high, had him around the face.
Lafayette County.
So it is a 15-yard face mask. That moves it out.
15-yard penalty puts the ball to the 40, first down.
Moves it out to the 40, and it's 1st and 10. First and 10 Itawamba. 8:30 to go in the half. Here's Dozier rolling to his left, looking, has a man. Complete to Keith Huddleston. A 12-yard pickup and a first down.
Ball to the 48. First down, 10 Itawamba.
I believe that's the first completion we've seen from Itawamba in this game.
That's right. We saw a halfback pass that was almost intercepted and then 2 incomplete passes from Dozier. First and 10 Itawamba from the Lafayette 48. Moving against the wind. There's a handoff. Swims on the carry. A 3-yard pickup. Swims a workhorse. He gets the ball a lot for them.
2nd and 7.
Of course, they're without the services of Randy Shumpert. He was the 2nd leading rusher on the team last year. Had an injury in the preseason. They hope to get him back. He was a 1,000-yard rusher last year. But they've been having to go to Swims a good bit here in the early going. Double wing back set. They send Swims in motion to the right. And a good job that time. Marvin Flemings got into the backfield, and he was there to meet Noah Swims.
That makes the coaches real happy if you're a Commodore coach to see your defenders already back there almost taking the handoff from a quarterback, putting a solid hit on the running back for a loss.
3rd and 11. After that 3-yard loss. Here's a pass down the left side, down the middle, looking for Swims, and it's incomplete.
It's incomplete, intended for Swims.
Wesley Smith doing a good job batting that ball away at the last second. He was the only thing standing between Itawamba and 6 points at that time.
Good coverage that time by Smith. 4th and 11. The Indians will have to punt. Swims back to punt. Woodall and Harrod back deep to receive for the Commodores. Gets the kick away. Pretty good kick. Going to hit at the 20, and they'll just let it roll. Takes an Itawamba bounce all the way down to the 12. So with 6:37 to go, 2nd quarter, Lafayette will take over from their own 12-yard line. Game tied at 7.
10 Lafayette County.
The Commodore defense did a very good job. They started that drive Itawamba started to drive on the 40-yard line due to a face mask penalty, and the Commodores able to snuff it out.
1st and 10 Commodores. Ball on their own 12-yard line. 2 backs in the backfield. They give it to Jason Smith. He tries to go around the right side. Not much there.
Jason Smith carry.
In fact, it appears that he lost a couple of yards.
Number 44 for the Indians, Antonio Dillworth, doing a very good job of shedding his blocker, meeting the running back right in the hole, right at the line of scrimmage, and just driving him backwards.
2nd down, 12. Ball at the 10-yard line. Woodall out to the left. Harrod in motion. They give it to Marvin Flemons over the right side. And Marvin with a good carry.
Well, both of the Commodore running backs, Quarles and Flemons, the larger running backs, are having more success, it seems like, at this stage of the ball game, with these bursts right up the middle where they're having to break those initial arm tackles and use that leg strength to push them on down the field.
3rd and 6. Ball on the 17. Double wing backs. Harrod in motion. They give it to him. Around the left end. Kevin Harrod, Brad McMillan there to make the stop. But Kevin is close to, and he has the 1st down. And we've got an official's timeout on the field. So with that, we will keep it right here. And that gives us an opportunity to tell you about our sponsors here on high school football. Lafayette Commodore football brought to you by Treasures Jewelry in the Oxford Mall, by Pylan Wholesale Furniture in Pylan, by Dr. Watt Bishop in Oxford, Johnson's Furniture, Glenn Brown Insurance, by Belk Ford in Oxford, by Mechanics Bank with 3 locations in Oxford and Water Valley, by Taco Bell, by Ajax Diner in Oxford, by State Farm Insurance agents Tom Davis and Marty Stark, by Grisanti Rebel Motors, by Hunter's Hollow, by Ray's Supermarket, and by University Sporting Goods, all proud to help us bring you Oxford and Lafayette County football here on Galaxy Cable Channel 12. 5:10 to go in the 2nd quarter. Good ball game, 7-7 your score. Commodores with the ball on their own 25-yard line. 1st and 10. There's Jason Smith around the right side. They string it out.
Jason Smith carry.
This Indian defense, although they're not real large, they do have appear to have a lot of team speed, and so these sweeps that we're seeing Lafayette attempt around these ends are not being very successful due to the Indians being able to close and make a good open field tackle.
Well, Itawamba had a lot of players returning on offense, but they had to replace their entire linebacking core on defense, and that was a concern coming in, but they looked like they'd done a good job. There's a handoff. Flemons again up the middle, not much there. Fighting for a couple of yards.
Flemons carry.
I believe, though, that's where Lafayette's going to find most of their success, as they're going to as their offensive line is much bigger than the defenders, and so they're going to be able to find some success in those quick hitches right up the middle. And I believe if we keep going to that, we may see one of these running backs for Lafayette break one for a long gain.
3rd down, 6, 3:55 to go, 2nd quarter. Ball on the 27-yard line, 28-yard line. They hand it off again. Marvin Flemons running hard up the right side. And he stopped short of the 1st down. About a 3-yard pickup that time for Marvin. So the Commodores will have to punt on 4th and 2.
The offense still did a good job of driving the ball out as they were backed up very deep in their own territory, and now they've driven it out past the 30. So it's, even though they're having a punt, it was a successful drive.
McCormick back to kick, Swims, and Colburn back deep to receive. Gets the kick away with a wind behind him. Swims signals for a fair catch and makes one at the 40-yard line.
Fair catch taken on the 40, first down, 10, Itawamba.
So Itawamba will take over at their own 40. 3 minutes to go.
A little questionable there is why Swims signal for the fair catch, as he had quite a bit of running room, it appeared.
Well, that was a good kick to return, a low line drive. But he signaled fair catch on almost every punt that he's taken so far, and you'd think he'd be a guy that would want to take the ball and run with it. First and 10 Indians. Ball on the 40. There's Esters on the end around. Esters fighting for yardage.
Esters, Gary.
Had Commodore defenders just all around him, and nobody could find him in time to get a hand on him to stop him before he had a nice gain on first down.
Sean Vaughn there to make the tackle after a 5-yard gain. Second down, 5. Ball on the 45. Make it the 46-yard line.
Brad, the Commodores need to do something about their starting field position, as they have definitely lost that battle so far in this ball game.
Esters in motion, misdirection, ball loose on the field.
Lie down.
And the Commodores, I believe, have recovered it, but there is a penalty marker down. There was some confusion before the snap.
I believe Lafayette's going to have the ball, as it's going to be all sides on the Indians.
Recovers the fumble. First down, 10 to the 44.
So the big turnover that time by Itawamba.
That'll solve your field position woes in a hurry, won't it,
gives the Commodores good field position. At the 44-yard line, first and 10 for the Commodores. 3 receivers to the right. Raybon looking left, looking for Smith down the sideline, and just overthrown. McMillan on the coverage.
That's the best coverage that we've seen the Indians have on these wide receivers for the Commodores. I believe we will see the pass quite often tonight, as the Indians have had trouble handling it so far.
Second down, 10. 7-7 ball game, 2:09 to go in the half. So now we've got a whistle.
Maybe another mystery foul.
And they're resetting the play clock, is what they're doing. And they start the clock. I don't know why they started the game clock on that one. Here's Raybon rolling to the right. He keeps it. Pickup of about 5. Over there to make the stop, Sherrod Dilworth.
Ball to the 40, third down, 6.
And we got a huge third down. We're getting late in this half of play, and it would be nice to go in the locker room with a lead.
3rd and 6, 1:35 to go in the half. The Commodores would like to get something on the board if they could. Raybon under pressure.
Raybon's pass incomplete, intended for Jason Smith.
Look for Jason Smith over here on the near sideline, but just overshot him.
4th down.
He was open, but Raybon under terrible pressure as the pocket had collapsed. But he had plenty of time to get the football away. That wasn't the offensive line's fault at that point. It just took a little bit too long for him to find the receiver that he wanted to go to.
That brings up 4th down and 6. Commodores going for it. Rashad Raybon throws over the middle to Herod.
Raybon
Kevin Herod
to Herod
with the catch and the first down.
No flags.
First down, 10, Lafayette County.
12-yard pickup that time. And a first down.
One of the defensive backs for the Indians shook up. Number 11, Lewis Lee, came off holding his arm.
So a big first down pickup for the Commodores. They give it to Herod. Around the left end, strung out and out of bounds.
We continue to see that play, and it's almost like the running back is trying to go too far before he cuts upfield. As he had a good block. He had one of the big linemen out in front of him, put a good block on the defender, but the play is just too slow in getting down the field, and it's giving the Indian defenders time to close the holes up.
2nd down 8 after a 2-yard pickup. One back in the backfield. Raybon back to throw under pressure. He has to run with it.
Raybon carry.
Raybon not afraid to hold that ball to the last possible second.
Brazil on the stop.
On to the 21, 3rd down 4.
4-yard pickup.
Lafayette County.
And Lafayette takes a timeout with 37 seconds to go. We'll take one as well. You're watching Commodore football on Channel 12. And we're back here in Fulton. Raybon rolling to his right and dragged down.
Raybon is sacked by Noah Swims.
Noah Swims on the sack. One playmaker dragging down another one. Lost
back to the 28.
Back to the 28-yard line.
11.
Just a tough loss right there in that situation, is Lafayette really needing to pick up the first down.
4th down 11, and he's sacked again.
Raybon is sacked.
I believe the Lafayette coach is going to have to let Raybon take a little bit farther drop before he stops and tries to throw the ball. This Indian defense they're just a little bit too quick for some of these bigger guys, it seems like, at this stage of the game.
Down 10 Itawamba.
Well, they did one thing they wanted to do, and that's run out the clock pretty much. Itawamba will have 4 seconds to get off a play here before halftime. Let's see if they try to throw it deep down the field or just run out the clock.
I'll tell you what, Brad, if I keep catching whiffs of that popcorn, I may be leaving you here in a minute.
It's a long way down there, Scott. Fumble on the play. And the Commodores recover, but time has expired. We've reached halftime here in Fulton. Itawamba and Lafayette tied at 7. You're watching Commodore football on Galaxy Channel 12.
Ben Isham, Eric Burnham, Alex Glasgow, and Ryan Beeler, as well as a trombone solo by Daniel Skates in Does Anybody Really Know What Time It Is? We will feature our drum section in Free. The band will close tonight's performance with 25 or 6 to 4. The band is under the field direction of drum major Kelly Burns. coaches of the Lafayette Band Program are Matt and Melanie Starr.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for your...
And we are back here in Fulton, ready to start the second half. Brad Kennedy, Scott McCord, Rob Morgan with you. The kickoff to the Commodores, taken by Herod. He goes left and brought down
Herod on the return.
over there by Eric Stevens. And the Commodores will start 1st and 10 at their own 22-yard line. Some first half numbers for you for Lafayette. Total yards 101, 48 on the ground, 53 through the air. There were 3 for 6 passing. Kevin Herod, 6 carries for 25 yards. Flemons, 5 carries for 24 yards. The yardage advantage really went to the Commodores. Itawamba only picked up 61 total yards, 49 of that on the ground. Noah Swims, 9 carries for 28 yards. They were 1 for 5 passing the football. Here's a handoff. Kevin Herod on the carry. Good pickup that time.
He cut in there a lot faster than he had been doing in the past, where we had been trying to sweep around the end. He cut right in behind one of those big offensive linemen where he had a large hole. It didn't give the defenders enough time to close the gap before he was well down the field for a first down.
First down, 1st and 10 for the Commodores. They give it to Smith on the end around. He picks up a couple of yards.
It's basically the same play that they ran on the previous down, just to the other side. Not quite as much success on that carry as we saw on the first one, though.
2nd down, 8 yards to go. Ball resting on the 37-yard line of Lafayette. Jonathan Smith split wide to the left. Travis Cox wide to the right. Double wing back set. In motion goes Jason Smith around the right side. Not much there, maybe a yard.
Keep talking about this defensive speed for Itawamba, but that play discontinually doesn't work very well because the defenders are already in the backfield, causing the running back to have to run even farther down the line of scrimmage before he ever tries to cut the ball upfield. So that's the fence being able to cut him down before he gets any yardage.
3rd down, 6. Rashad Raybon back to pass, looks over the middle, and a penalty marker comes down.
That's a good call, too, because number 11, Lewis Lee, was in there and hit the receiver prior to the football getting there, so that's a good call by the official there.
So pass interference, the call. Pass was intended for Nesbitt Bell.
Itawamba has just shown the inability to cover these receivers all night, and we've had several passes that's been close to being receptions. That one of those would have been a touchdown earlier in the game. I think you're going to see the Commodores maybe air it out a little bit more in this second half.
1st and 10, Raybon back to throw across the middle, intended for Jason Smith, but it's incomplete. That brings up 2nd and 10.
I believe the Indians had a blitz on. The offensive line for the Commodores doing a good job of giving Raybon time to drop back and look for the receiver.
Second down, 10. They hand it off to Herod, and not much there for Kevin.
Good carry.
It's a big defensive stop for the Indians. So they had several defenders in the backfield. That play really not ever able to get off the ground.
47.
Lost a yard that time.
11.
3rd and 11. 9:40 to go. Third quarter. 7-7 ball game here in Fulton on the campus of Itawamba Community College. Quick pass to Jonathan Smith, left side.
Hold on pass complete to Jonathan Smith.
Pickup of about 3. Make that 2 yards.
44, 4th down 9.
4th and 9, and the Commodores will have to punt.
I think the Commodores may have dodged a bullet there. Several fans thought the football was loose, and I was one of them as well.
McCormick on to kick. Swims Colburn back deep. With the wind behind him. There's a fumble. But Swims picks it up, and he's loose. Down the right side, Noah Swims. He may go. And he does go all the way.
Down to Itawamba.
Noah Swims with a 90-yard punt return for a touchdown. Puts the Indians on top 13-7.
Well, there were several Commodore defenders had chances to tackle him. No one was able to wrap him up, however, and once Swims broke open into that the open field, no one had the speed to run him down as he showed that he could get on down the field in a pretty good hurry.
Dozier on to attempt the extra point. Lead a hole. There's the kick. It's up, and it's good. And just like that, the Itawamba Indians take the lead 14-7 with 8:28 to go third quarter. You're watching Lafayette Commodore football on Galaxy Channel 12. Leading 14-7. Here's Herod on the kickoff return. He's out to the 25, and there's a scramble for the football. Itawamba says they have it, and let's see. They do have it.
Itawamba recovers the fumble. First down 10.
Well, the Commodores making one mistake followed by another huge mistake as we now have the Indians first down and 10 on about the 28-yard line of Lafayette, knocking on the door again.
Big turnover that time for the Commodores. Here's Swims on the carry, and he just didn't want to go down.
Well, we're going to have to see the Commodore defense rise up and stop this drive before any further damage is done and get the ball back and get this offensive unit back on the field, score this tying touchdown.
Maybe a yard pickup that time for Swims. 2nd down 9. Ball on the 27-yard line.
Swims carry.
As Swims again, nothing doing this time. He just got back to the line of scrimmage. In fact, he may have lost a yard.
The Commodore defense has kept this offense of the Indians bottled up all night. The only time that they scored was a 30-yard. They took the ball over on the 30-yard line, kind of like we have in this situation, and was able to drive it down and score. But only 61 total yards of offense in the first half.
Itawamba did not have the ball very much in the first half. Lafayette dominated time of possession. Here's Dozier rolling to his left. Under pressure. Gets a pass complete to Esters, and Esters looked like he was tackled, but he just refused to go down. And now he's down to the 8-yard line.
Well, the Commodore defender had him, put a good hit on him, and just failed to wrap him up and bring him down. I know if he had that to do over again, he would certainly use his arms to wrap him up and bring him on down.
A 19-yard completion. Dozier to Esters. And it's 1st and goal to go from the 9. They give it to Swims. He's hit in the backfield. He's hit again. And finally, Jonathan Smith, Wesley Smith, there to make the tackle for the Commodores. Picked up maybe a yard on that one.
Now we've seen just a couple of plays. The punt that was returned and the previous defensive play where we've just seen a little nonchalantness going on the Commodore side. It's really cost them now. They got to get their intensity back, start making these plays.
2nd down, goal to go from the 8. I formation. There's a fumble on the exchange, and Dozier is on top of it. The Indians retain possession.
Very close to the break that the Commodores needed. Dozier able to get back on top of that football and maintain possession for the Indians, although it did back them up outside of the 10. So giving the defense another chance here to stop the Indians short of the goal line.
6-yard loss on that fumble. Third and goal. Dozier rolling right. Throws. Pass intended for Scotty Nichols, and it falls incomplete. So that brings up 4th and goal to go.
Appeared to me that it hit the receiver right in the hands. He just wasn't able to hold on to it.
So the field goal unit comes on. Dozier to kick. Lewis Lee to hold. This will be a 30-yard kick as they put it down right at the 20-yard line. And now they want a timeout. They're having some problems. Well, they won't take a timeout. They're trying to get the right personnel onto the field, or enough personnel onto the field. They need 2 more. So now they finally call a timeout. And we will keep it right here. That gives us an opportunity to tell you about the folks who help us bring you Lafayette County football here on Channel 12. Treasures Jewelry in the Oxford Mall. Highland Wholesale Furniture in Highland. Dr. Watt Bishop. Johnson's Furniture. Glenn Brown Insurance. Belk Ford. Mechanics Bank. Taco Bell. Ajax Diner. State Farm Insurance Agents Tom Davis and Marty Stark. Grisanti Rebel Motors. Hunter's Hollow, Ray's Supermarket, and University Sporting Goods. All of our sponsors proud to help us bring you Lafayette County football here on Galaxy Cable Channel 12. Scott McCord, Brad Kennedy, Rob Morgan with you here from Fulton. 5:12 to go, 3rd quarter. Itawamba leading 14-7, attempting a 30-yard field goal into the wind. The kick's up, and that hit the upright and bounced back. No good.
No good.
Commodores dodge a huge bullet. So they've had a little lapse here and had some things go against them. Finally, something good for the Commodores is the ball plenty of distance. Although it hit the upright, instead of bouncing through, it bounced back into the field of play, and it was no good.
At the conclusion of tonight's contest.
So with 5:07 to go,
Field house after the game tonight.
here in the 3rd quarter, Lafayette takes over on their own 20. Big play in this half, the 90-yard punt return by Noah Swims. It looked like the Commodores really had control of the football game up until that point.
If you go back to right after the first score by Itawamba, from that point up until the 90-yard touchdown on the run back, the Commodores had about as much control as you could have other than being able to put the ball in the end zone. That was their one problem.
Pretty good night for football. The threat of rain in the area. We thought we felt a few drops hit us here a while ago. Of course, during the half, Scott and I had the opportunity to step down on the banks of the Tin-Tom Waterway and catch us a few of those Alabama sturgeon down there.
This sturgeon on a stick's pretty good.
1st and 10. Here's Flemons, left side. Close to a first down, Marvin Flemons.
Flemons, Gary.
Let's see where they mark it. They put it right on the 30, and they do say first down.
30, first down, 10, Lafayette County.
Well, Lafayette going back to what they've been doing well, and that's that power running, able to get the first down.
Double wingback set. Fleming's the lone tailback. They hand it to Marvin.
Fleming's carry.
He picks up 5.
Ball at the 35 through second down 5.
Well, the Commodores need to reestablish themselves and pick their intensity back up. I just think they had a little bit of a lapse as they were pretty much in control of the game, and they just kind of let it get away from them. So they need to pick their intensity back up.
2nd and 5. They hand it off to Harrod on the end around. Kevin with some running room, and he's free down the sideline, but there's a penalty marker down. Kevin still going. Down to the 15.
I believe this is going to come back, however. It looks like it's going to be offensive holding. Let's hope it's not, but
Harrod still down. And they're going to check on him.
They're talking with the defender here, so not holding, but it is against Lafayette, so this excellent play will be coming back.
We've got an official's timeout on the field while they check on Kevin Harrod. Good run.
It's probably going to be a knee. He was drugged down from behind, probably got a cleat or something caught in the side and twisted a knee a little bit.
We certainly hope that he's all right. And they help him to his feet now. Keeping that right foot up in the air.
Well, just what the doctor ordered, all except for the little yellow napkin laying on the ground, Brad.
Well, Lafayette, they've really had control of this ball game until the big play happened for Itawamba.
I never really understood what the penalty was.
It must have been illegal motion before the play. They mark it back only 5 yards. 2nd down 10 from the 30. Smith in motion, and they give it to him. But in the backfield was Martin Davis on the stop. He almost took the handoff that time. He had his arms around Jason Smith's legs when he took the handoff.
3rd down, 13.
It'll be a case of going to the well one too many times. We've seen that play several times tonight. The defender, that situation, being able to smell it out, be there for the big stop for a loss.
3rd down, 13 for the Commodores. Quarles the lone setback, 4 receivers. They look across the middle for Jason Smith, and it's incomplete. So that brings up 4th down.
Jason Smith.
Well, you're really being able to sense the momentum really shifting to the Indians. The Commodores have got to do something to control this time. This is going to get out of hand for them.
Well, they have the wind at their back here on this punt, so maybe they can drive Itawamba back deep and regain the field position battle. Oh, and it's a low line drive kick. Swims, comes up, and he fumbles it. And it appears that Itawamba was able to get on top. That ball was a little too low to be fielded, and Itawamba did recover. Brad McMillan there to pick it up. So a big break for the Indians. 2:47 to go, 3rd quarter. Itawamba leading Lafayette 14-7.
Well, again, the Indians with great starting field position as they've had seemingly all night long.
Ball on the 47-yard line of the Commodores. They hand it off to Swims around the right side. He breaks a tackle.
Swim.
He gets down to the 31-yard line. Wesley Smith and Michael Brannon there to make the stop for the Commodores.
Ball at the 31, first down, 10 Itawamba.
Swims may be one of these running backs that gets stronger as the game continues.
First and 10 for the Indians. I formation. Swims the deep back. They give it to the first man through. Huddleston.
Gary.
Sean Vaughn there to make the stop.
Well, we're seeing something on this drive that we haven't seen all night tonight, and that's the offensive line of the Indians being able to take over and make some pretty good holes for their running backs to follow through.
Second down, 3. And we had some movement there before the snap.
Flag down.
Illegal motion against the Indians that time. The right side of that offensive line jumped.
Illegal procedure at Itawamba. Marks back to the 28. Second down, 8.
Boy, when you look at total offense in this game, the Commodores have just dominated. But trail on the scoreboard, 14-7. Minute 20 to go. Third quarter. They hand it off to Swims. Bouncing off tacklers.
Swims, Gary.
Picks up a couple of yards. Down to the 26.
Ball at the 25.
Well, we're going to test the Commodore defense again.
3rd and 5.
We got 3rd down and 5. It's a big 3rd down as Itawamba has managed to drive the football down deep again. So we're just there to keep knocking on the door, and the Commodores so far have been able to keep themselves within striking distance. But again, here we are once again right back down deep.
3rd and 5. Dozier rolling left. Throws complete.
Pass complete to Nichols.
To Nichols over on the left side, Scotty Nichols. Eric Woodall on the coverage.
Well, this Indian passing attack really not real impressive, but managing to be good enough to get the job done in that situation.
First and 10 from the 16. They hand it to Swims around the right side, and he's collared.
Swims, Gary.
Commodore Herod, Keetrick Bowles.
Commodore defense doing a good job of gang tackling, keeping Swims from breaking loose, as he has shown on this possession that he has some breakaway strength and has some resolve to score another touchdown.
So the clock running on the 3rd quarter, and it runs out. 14-7 your score. Itawamba on top. You're watching Lafayette Commodore football on Galaxy Cable 12 in Oxford. And we are back here in Fulton as we begin the 4th quarter. Lafayette trailing Itawamba 14-7. The Indians driving. Ball on the 18-yard line. 2nd and 13. They give it to Swims. Check that. That's Esters.
Esters, Gary.
Over on the left side. Not much there.
Wesley Smith doing a good job of breaking through, stopping that run for a little or no gain.
So that brings up 3rd
down
and 10. So a big 3rd down play here for the Commodore defense.
And Brad, the Commodores have got to do something at this point to get the momentum back. They had everything seemingly in hand, and it's slipping away at this point, so need a big defensive stand, maybe a turnover.
So now Lafayette asks for a timeout. We'll take a timeout as well. You're watching Commodore football on Galaxy Channel 12. We're back to action here on 3rd down. Dozier going for the Let's see who that was.
Fourth down.
It was intended for. That's not Huddleston. Can't tell who that is.
Number 80, was
Galvin McKinney was the intended receiver, but it's incomplete. And that brings up 4th and 10.
Commodore defense really bearing down on the quarterback, hitting him just as he released the football. I believe that had a huge effect on that being incomplete.
Dozier on to attempt a 33-yard field goal. And the kick is up, and it looked like it was wide left, but there's penalty markers on the play.
Flag down.
Illegal motion. Against Itawamba, that will back them up and make this a much longer field goal. They have the wind at their backs.
Illegal procedure at Itawamba. 4th down, 15. On to the 21.
This would be a nice place for a fake field goal. You'd think that the defense would be off guard at this point. You've got a 7-point lead to play with.
A 38-yard attempt, bad snap. I don't think it was a fake. Lewis Lee picks it up and throws into the crowd. That ball was almost picked off by Wesley Smith. It may have been a fake, Scott, but it was a high snap.
Well, it was a pretty bad attempt at a fake if it was planned. Good thing they have a 7-point lead.
So the ball goes over on downs to the Commodores.
Ball goes over on down. 1st down, 10, Lafayette County, on to the 21.
Well, Lafayette dodges another bullet. I don't know how many. It seems that they're playing Russian roulette right now. Sooner or later, though, you're going to have to get to that chamber that's got that bullet in it if you don't be careful.
Well, it may not be that bad. 11 minutes to go in the game. 14-7. They have dodged some close calls here in the second half. Commodores take over at their own 21-yard line. Rashad Raybon, it looked like he wanted to give it to Flemons, but Flemons was locked up with a defender. So he had to just keep it himself and eat it for a 4-yard loss.
2nd down.
Brad, I'm just trying to call it like I see it.
Maybe those sturgeon getting to you.
14.
I hear they got a lot of iodine in them.
On 2nd down, Jason Smith on the carry. Picks up a couple of yards.
And we need to see the Commodore offense really reestablish themselves and get back to the form that they had in the first half. We've seen them not be able to sustain these drives here in the 3rd quarter and now into the 4th quarter. So we're getting too late in the ball game for the offense to quit working.
3rd down, 13 yards to go. Ball on the 18-yard line. Raybon back to throw under pressure. And he tried a little screen pass to Marvin Flemons, but Marvin was laying on the ground. And it's incomplete.
This appears that this Indian defense has really risen to the occasion as they've got people just flying all over the place and seemingly knowing what the play is before this even in progress.
4th and 13, and the wind really a factor right here, blowing pretty steadily into the face of the punter. He gets a good one away though, and you can see the wind knock it down. Colburn makes the fair catch at the 43, so Itawamba will start in good field position yet again.
That's been the story of the game to me, is the starting field position for the Indians, as they've managed to keep Commodores backed up all night while themselves starting around the 50-yard line or better.
First and 10 Indians. Double wingback set Scotty Nichols split wide to the left. They give it to Huddleston on the pitch. Keith Huddleston still running. Down to the 25-yard line.
Gary.
18-yard pickup that time for Huddleston.
First down, 10 Itawamba. All to the 25.
Down to the 25-yard line. Here's a handoff to Esters. Marvin Flemons with a good tackle around the ankles that time to keep Esters from picking up any more yards.
It was a great play there with number 24 for the Commodores, as that play could have gone all the way had he not been able to hang on.
Only picked up a yard, second down, 9. Here's Esters again up the middle, twisting and turning his way down to the 17.
Esters has come in here in the second half and really made himself known. He and number 10 Swims have turned this Indian offense around.
Third down, 3.
And really been gaining some good yardage.
Third down, 3 yards to go, 8:05 to play in the ball game.
Well, you're getting in a situation now where this is a must stop for the Commodore defense.
High formation for the Indians. Swims the deep back. They pitch it to him. Swims right side. Good tackle in the open field that time by Wesley Smith. But Swims had already picked up a first down. See where they mark it, down at the 7-yard line.
All to the 7. First down, goal.
Decleater of a hit.
A good hit that time by Wesley Smith.
About 7 yards too late, but it was a good hit nonetheless.
$53 yards on 16 carries for Swims. He gets the ball a lot. Esters the deep back. They give it to him. There's Esters down to the 3-yard line, it appears.
Esters carry.
Well, the Commodore defense with their back totally against the wall now. Going to have to find a way to keep the Indians out of the end zone, or they're going to
second down, goal.
be really in a bad shape, trailing by 2 touchdowns.
Second and goal to go from the 3. They pitch it to Swims.
Swims.
Did he get in? The Itawamba players signaling touchdowns, but the referees haven't as yet.
They spotted it short.
They spotted it short. It'll be third and goal from about the 1-inch line, it looks like.
3rd and inches.
Well, a little gut check time for the Commodore D. See if they can keep the Indians out of the end zone.
I formation. Swims the deep back. They keep it on the quarterback keeper. And touchdown. They finally signal touchdown.
On to the Itawamba.
Clay Dozier with a 1-yard run. Makes it 20-7 with 6:01 to go. Dozier now to attempt the extra point. And the kick is good. It's 21-7. Itawamba on top with 6:01 to play in the ball game. You're watching Commodore football on Channel 12. And we are back here in Fulton. Itawamba has taken a 21-7 lead over the Commodores. Kickoff drives Herod deep to the goal line. He's corralled at the 9.
Errand on the return.
Only an 8-yard return.
Haird's still down.
Well, Kevin has been down one time tonight.
On the 9, first down, 10, Lafayette County.
I believe he may be getting leg cramps. Well, the Commodore offense is really backed up now. Only 5:50 left to go in this football game. They not only have to drive the football down, but they have to drive it in a hurry and score, and then look for maybe something like an onside kick if it takes, if they don't have a couple minutes left to go in the game. Try to get yourself back in this ball game.
Well, next week is a week off for us here on Channel 12. No game for you, but we'll be back in 2 weeks as these Lafayette Commodores take on Hernando. We'll have that game for you. The Commodores next week return home to host Tishomingo County. The Oxford Chargers next week travel to Holly Springs for more Division I 4A action. First and 10 from the Commodores from their own 9-yard line. Raybon back to throw under heavy pressure. There's a penalty marker down. Rashad never did go down. They do mark him down. Well, I thought there was a penalty marker down.
Another one of those mysterious calls.
Yeah. Evidently, they said that his forward progress has been stopped, but he was still on his feet.
18.
So a loss of 8 back to the 1-yard line. Rashad hasn't had a very productive night running the football. They go on the keeper. He picks up a couple.
Everything going the Indians' way at this time of the game. It's been a good football game, but the Commodores are in trouble at this point.
Third down 15.
They backed up all the way on the wrong end of the field trying to score.
4:43 to go in the football game. 21-7. Itawamba on top. Opening week of division play. This Division I 4A, a group of teams that sort of took it on the chin last week. 6 of the 7 Division I 4A teams lost in non-division play. Holly Springs was the only team with a victory. Here's a pass intended for Jason Smith.
Intended for Jason.
And it hit him in the hands and bounced off, and that could have been dangerous right there.
I believe Smith heard the footsteps of the defenders coming real fast because he was trying to get his head around to see just where they were at.
Well, there were 2 or 3 in the area that could have picked that ball off and walked into the end zone. So it's 4th down. The punting unit comes on. McCormick on the inline to punt this football. Itawamba should get excellent field position out of this. And he stepped out of bounds. He stepped out of bounds, and there's a safety. Always a possibility of that happening when the punter's standing there on his own inline.
Commodore just kind of self-destructing in this second half.
23,
They've had a return punt, now stepping out of bounds on a safety.
23-7 to score now with 4:18. Of course, we'll have the free kick from the 20.
They'll be kicking into this wind that's come up. So you would expect the Indians to have, guess what, good starting field position again.
They've had it all night. Flemings to do the kicking. Swims back deep for the Indians. This is a free kick. Doesn't even have to go 10 yards. End over end kick. Colburn comes up, makes the catch at the 38. Still on his feet. Strung out and out of bounds.
Colburn on the return.
Marvin Quarles, Wesley Smith. And Julian Marzette over there to push him out at the Lafayette 45-yard line.
On to the 45, first down, 10 Itawamba.
The Itawamba 45, excuse me. 4:09 to go in the ball game.
Brad, these two teams expecting to compete for the division title, and I believe, as we have seen, that's probably an accurate description of these two teams. Both of them very talented. Looks like the Indians are going to come away with a win tonight, but I believe the Commodores would like to have another chance at them.
There's a handoff up the middle, and the ball popped out, but they're going to say he was down. That was Esters on the carry.
On to the 49, second down 4.
Out to the 49-yard line in Lafayette Commodore territory. Second down and 4. Three and a half minutes to go in the game. Dozier hands off Huddleston.
Huddleston, Gary.
Picked up a couple of yards. Rashad Raybon in there to make the stop.
Well, Brad, as you look at the area's top 5 as listed in the Northeast Mississippi Daily Journal, you see something very odd in the big school poll. All 5 of the schools are 3A schools. Where are the powerhouse 5A and 4A schools this year?
Well, one of the big powerhouse teams that we're used to seeing up there is Tupelo, and they fell to 0-4 last week, and a tough opponent tonight with Columbus coming to town. Here's Swims, the ball carrier.
Gary.
And he's, looks like has enough yardage for the first down to the 44-yard line. But Tupelo, a traditional power, they've fallen to 0-4 with a loss to Shannon last week, and taking on Columbus, kind of a new power on the scene. And in fact, Columbus defeated this Itawamba team earlier in the year.
So Tupelo homecoming, but I don't know if they're going to like the results of this homecoming.
Of course, upsets were the name of the game in the top 20 last week in the AP poll, as 7 of the top 20 teams were knocked off. Here's Esters around the left side.
Esters, Gary.
The number 1 ranked team, Madison Central, they were defeated by Brandon 35-25. So Moss Point, who did not play last week, they had their game canceled. They moved up into the number 1 spot. Not many North Mississippi teams in that poll. Shannon has made it to the top 10. I think they were ranked number 9.
Up to 33.
Well, a big division game tonight is 2 of the area's top teams clashing early in Division 3A, being the Ripley Tigers and Corinth Warriors. They're going to tangle tonight to see who's going to take the early lead in that division.
Well, we've talked all year. Corinth kind of an upstart team. Here's Huddleston on the keeper.
Huddleston, Gary.
On the handoff, and he's down to the 17-yard line, and there are penalty markers everywhere.
I believe it'll be a face mask added on to the end of the run.
And that is the call.
It'll be half the distance of the goal line, so it'll be first and goal.
So with 2:10 to play, Itawamba with an opportunity to score again. They may pull a Tommy Tuberville here and go ahead and stick this one in.
Surely they'd have more class than that.
Well, Tommy said it was about the money. I formation. Esters the deep back. Huddleston the up back. They give it to Huddleston. And he's down to the 8-yard line. Sean Vaughn there to make the tackle.
Swims, Gary.
You know, one of the interesting things, we're here in Itawamba County doing this game. The area's leading rusher in high school football is a player named Derek Jones from Mantachie. And it's just incredible what he's been able to do this year. We've seen some good running backs. He has 898 yards on 148 carries, and he's ahead of Vashawn Pearson of Ripley, who has 797 yards on 82 carries. Here's Esther's left side, and into the end zone, touchdown. Touchdown, Itawamba, and they lead 29-7 with 1:04 to go. Dozier on to attempt the extra point. And the kick is up and good. So with 1:04 to play in the game, Itawamba in command, 30-7. You're watching Commodore football on Galaxy Channel 12. Clock never got started on that one. Several big games in the area. How about some of those 1A battles, Scott?
Yeah, we got a big 1A battle tonight with Barterman and facing off Hamilton. Barterman being the #1 ranked team in the small schools, facing Hamilton, which is a #4 ranked school. Both of them undefeated. I believe Barterman has one of those big running backs down there that's been tearing things up too, don't you?
Odie Armstrong, 678 yards on 51 carries for 11 touchdowns. He's averaging about 13 yards a carry.
That ought to turn a few Division 1A schools' heads.
Here's the kickoff. Jonathan Smith has it up the right side, and he loses the football, but loses it out of bounds. So we go under a minute to play, 59 seconds. Commodores trailing 30-7 in a ball game that you really felt like they had control of till about the middle of the third quarter. Then the big play, the 90-yard punt return by Noah Swims, just turned this ball game around. You had a fumble right after that by the Commodores. They were able to hold Itawamba out of the end zone, but from that time on, Itawamba played this game on the Lafayette end of the field and were able to put up some easy points. 1st and 10. Raybon back to throw, under pressure, and down he goes.
Raybon on his side.
Yeah, the Commodores just never did really respond very well to that punt return. They would continue to make mistake after mistake after that, and the Indians have been able to take advantage of every one of these mistakes that Commodores have made.
John Bean on the sack, and Rashad Raybon is still down.
Adding insult to injury, as you see your star players begin to go down late in these games, they're seemingly out of reach.
Holding his left knee, trying to stretch it out. Maybe a cramp. As the trainer works on his left leg.
That just seems like the Commodores lost focus early in the second half and was just never able to regain what they were trying to do. You know, just lost their total focus on offense and even some of their intensity on defense.
So Raybon walks off the field under his own power. He appears to be okay. Dallas Mooneyham will come in and quarterback here on this next play. 2nd and 16 yards to go. There's a handoff around the left side. Michael Brannon.
Brannon carry.
He's out to the 25-yard line. About a 5-yard pickup.
24, 3rd down, 11.
You know, the Indians going to take an early advantage in trying to repeat as division champions, but Commodores still have a talented football team and should be able to bounce back from this loss.
Here's Mooneyham on the keeper around the right side.
Mooneyham carry. Ball game
Dallas is out to the 45, and it doesn't matter. Time has expired here in Fulton. Itawamba victorious 30-7 over the Lafayette Commodores. You've been watching Commodore football on Channel 12. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this. Indians have just defeated the Lafayette Commodores 30-7 to open Division I 4A play. And Scott, we felt like all season long this was going to be a big game, a crucial game, and the first half it really lived up to its expectations. 7-7 the score at halftime. And then the big play in the third quarter where it looked like Lafayette was really beginning to take command. The big punt return by Swims, that just turned this ball game around.
If there was one play in the entire football game, and I think the tide did turn on, it was that one play, because it just seemed like Commodores was never able to get over that play and certainly never got back in the football game offensively after it happened.
Well, after that, Lafayette continued to lose the battle of field position. Itawamba played like they were running downhill all night and run the score up to 30-7, and with a big Division I 4A victory. We are off next week here on Channel 12, but the Commodores are not. They are at home to take on Tishomingo County. The Braves off to a 3-1 start this season, but should be a good ball game for the Commodores. The Oxford Chargers travel to Holly Springs for a division ball game next week. So that gives us an opportunity to tell you about the folks who help us bring you Lafayette County football. Treasures Jewelry, Pile and Wholesale Furniture, Dr. Watt Bishop, Johnson's Furniture, Glenn Brown Insurance, Belk Ford, Mechanics Bank, Taco Bell, Ajax Diner, State Farm Insurance Agents Tom Davis and Marty Stark, Grisante Rebel Motors, Hunter's Hollow, Ray's Supermarket, and University Sporting Goods, all proud to help us bring you Lafayette County football here on Galaxy Channel 12. So that will just about do it for us. For Rob Morgan and Scott McCord, this is Brad Kennedy. Good night, everybody.